Breaking tool after tool, I wondered if there was a way to cheat the system, force these tools, seemingly made of glass, to last a bit longer. It was always frustrating not knowing exactly how each tool wore down over time. Did it matter if I missed digging up the fossil and dug next to it instead? Can I skip around watering the ground aimlessly with no consequences? Can I miss that present 12 times in the sky without a slingshot snapping in my hands? Breaking tools is a new mechanic to Animal Crossing. Not something that most enjoy, but part of the game whether you like it or not. We asked for more mechanics. We got more mechanics. So, how does each tool break? Contrary to what some guides online indicate, they do not all break the same way. I'll be nice and, give them some slack. The game is new and you can't find out everything in the first couple of weeks. But I will say, be careful what you read. As with the struggles of creating hybrids, every guide tells you something different. But this time, it's not crazy difficult, it's just incredibly time consuming. Alright, let's start with the shovel. This is probably one of the most frequently used tools. You smash some rocks, dig up fossils, and plant trees, but do any of these actions wear down your shovel more? Shovels only break down if you actually dig up an item. To make sure this was true, I spent about 40 minutes digging around 500 holes because apparently I have nothing better to do with my time. One ruined island later, and I can confirm that digging up nothing does not break your shovel. But now I have an island full of holes. So why not test to see if covering these holes back up does anything? The answer is no. Covering holes does not break your shovel. Neither does burying items. You don't have to worry about accidentally trying to dig up buildings either. Smacking your shovel against the side of a wall doesn't damage your tool. Somehow. The digging up of items, however, is where the breakage starts to occur. With a flimsy shovel, you can dig up to 40 items before it breaks. It doesn't matter what you dig up, fossils, flowers, weeds, trees, whatever it is, you can dig up 40 of them. The only other thing your shovel is really used for is hitting rocks for resources. You can hit rocks 40 times as well, so don't just spam away on that rock. Once you've mined your 8 resources, stop mashing A. Your shovel and your future chances of developing arthritis will thank you. The pretty good shovel works the same way as the flimsy shovel, except the upgraded shovel gets you 100 uses instead of 40. The colorful shovel that you can buy from the upgraded Nook's Cranny will also net you 100 uses. It's just prettier and definitely worth the 2,500 bells. The golden one, well, I haven't had the pleasure of talking to Gulliver enough times to receive its shiny brilliance. But yes, the golden tools do break as well, so start saving up those golden nuggets now. Moving on to the axe. The axe is very straightforward. The flimsy axe has a limit of 40 uses on either trees or rocks, with or without resources. It's the same deal as the shovel. Hitting trees even without pieces of wood dropping to the ground or chipping out of rocks will cause your tool to wear down. The stone axe, which is the upgraded flimsy axe that allows you to get resources without chopping down trees, survives 100 uses, and the pretty good choppy axe also lasts 100 uses. Unfortunately, I can't tell you about the golden axe either because I haven't spent enough time slamming the flimsy axe into trees to be blessed with the presence of the golden axe. The net is the next easy tool to understand. The flimsy one will net you 10 bugs. The pretty good net increases that to 30 bugs. The size of the bug didn't seem to matter when I was testing the net out, so whether it's a tarantula or those freaking annoying water bugs, one doesn't destroy your net more than the other. It does not matter how many times you miss. You can smack the grass, smack the flowers, hate your neighbors, your net will not break. So enjoy using your net to your heart's content, but you can guess I have no data on the golden net yet. The final easy tool to understand is the slingshot. Waiting for these balloons took all day. So I may have done a little time traveling back to Bunny Day. I found a guide that said balloons appear every 5 minutes on the 4th and 9th minute. So one will appear at 10:54 and the next one will appear at 10:59, so on and so forth. This happened most of the time. The Bunny Day balloons, not that this matters anymore, seem to appear shortly after at the 5th and 10 minute marks. There is a chance I could have missed balloons, and this theory is actually correct, but it did work for me about 85% of the time. At 7 p.m., the balloons started appearing on the opposite side of the island. The regular slingshot lasts 20 balloon pops. If you miss the balloon, the shot does not lower the durability of your tool. It's only the number of balloons you actually pop. Popping the balloons and having your present meet its watery death does, however, count towards the total, so be patient with the ones that like to follow the river across your entire island. The colorful slingshot also caps out at 20 balloons. Is it worth the money? Quantitatively, no, but damn it, they're pretty. Thanks to pre-patched Bunny Day, I was able to get a hold of the golden slingshot. So many balloons. This thing will pop 60 balloons. At least I think it's 60. I probably miscounted when I arrived at 58. None of the tools cap out at such an uneven number, and most of the upgraded ones last 3 times longer than the previous version, so I'm assuming 60 is correct. Alright, this is where things get complicated. The fishing pole. My god, I spent so much time trying to figure out what broke this thing. I tried following the guides, which stated that 10 fish broke the fishing pole, but my tool kept breaking on like the 7th or 8th fish. I counted the number of casts, fish nibbles, fish caught, lost fish. Every experiment was inconclusive. I have like 2 pages of notes on nibbles, fish counts, everything. And then I thought, well, what would make a fishing pole break IRL? Because Animal Crossing is totally realistic in every aspect, so I should definitely be thinking about how this would work in the real world, but it actually helped. It turns out the size of the fish you're catching matters. In the world of New Horizons, there are 6 different sizes of fish. To save myself time and spare my sanity by not catching every size of fish multiple times in a row, I figured I'd pick 2 sizes. Size 1 fish and size 5 fish, since, you know, it's at least a C+. Size 1 fish were hard to find, but eventually I did it. It took 10 size 1 fish to break the flimsy rod. Next were the size 5 fish. Do you know how many size 6 fish I had to scare away? Too many. After a long time of catching red snappers by accident, I was finally able to catch 5 size 5 fish with the flimsy rod. The pretty good rod and colorful fishing rods were next. These both broke at 30 size 5 fish. So you know when CJ asks you to catch 3 fish of a certain size in a row? Yeah, I know why that number is so small. Because this was nearly impossible. It took me 3 days of fishing just to catch 30 size 5 fish consecutively without messing up. You're probably thinking to yourself, I could probably do that. I catch bass all the time. No, you can't. It's a lot harder than the ridiculous amount of sea bass would lead you to believe. Not only do those things sting your wallet, they actually break your fishing rod faster, because we all need more reasons to avoid them. After catching 30 sea bass, I wanted to preserve what was left of my sanity and didn't test how many size 1 fish you could catch. Because the amount of fish is doubled with the flimsy rod, I'm just gonna go ahead and make an educated guess and say 60. You can probably catch 60 small fish before this thing breaks. Finally, we have the last tool, the watering can. The guide I looked at explained that watering the ground with no flowers will deteriorate your tool by 1/10 of a point. So silly me decided to test this out to the extreme and water 400 empty grass spots. Except I tested this on a friend's island where I'm not best friended. And now I'm not sure if it's because I wasn't best friended, if it rained, if it was a glitch, but my watering can did nothing. I started to notice that the flowers I watered didn't even sparkle the way they normally would. But I just kept going and kept counting. Nothing. The watering can lasted a whole hour, so I decided to arrive back on my island to retest. We know the tool weakens when watering flowers, but what does it do when watering nothing? Doesn't matter if you miss watering that rose 2 times. Yes, it does. Watering a dry square, grass, stone, dirt, or even a flower will break down your tool. A dry square is defined as a square on the map that has not been watered by either watering can or by rain. A little extra information, 1 square is the amount of room that a flower takes up. The flimsy watering can will water 20 dry squares before breaking. The pretty good or colorful watering cans work slightly different than the flimsy watering can. The flimsy can waters a square directly in front of you. The upgraded tool waters 6 squares, or 2 adjacent lines. It will water the square you're standing on, the 2 beside you, and then the 3 in front of you. I was able to use this level of watering can 60 times before it broke. So that's technically 360 squares that you can water before your tool poofs away from your hand. Already watered spots do not matter. You can sit there watering the same spot 100 times with no consequences. A similar thing happens when it rains on your island. Everything becomes watered and your watering can is essentially useless. The process took forever, but I'm glad to now know how every tool behaves and deteriorates. Of course, you most likely won't be keeping count whenever you tend to the roses, but at least you'll have a good idea as to what hurts your tool and what doesn't. By the way, upgrading your tool by crafting with it resets the counter to 0. Say you caught 4 sea bass with your flimsy fishing rod. Go grab some iron, craft a pretty good fishing rod, and it's like you're starting with a fresh tool. The same idea works when customizing the upgraded tools. And there you have it. I'll make a guide for the golden tools when I collect all of those in the future, but I'm just thinking about how many sea bass I'm gonna have to catch in a row, and it just doesn't sound like it's going to be good for my mental health. Anything too confusing that I need to clarify? Found something I missed? Let me know in the comments below, and good luck avoiding those sea bass. Bye! I have dogs. I have dogs.